Welcome back to The Why. I'm Lauren Magarino, and hey, putting this down is a challenge, and the meteoric rise of TikTok is making it even harder. And there's one TikTok people have spent a lot of time watching before the break, and we asked you which TikTok has the most all-time views, and the answer is A, Zach King's Harry Potter illusion. Like, what is going on there? This video posted in 2019 has been viewed nearly 2.2 billion times with a B and has received 20 million likes. So apparently people love their Harry Potter, right? There's also other reasons why people keep coming back for more. And for that, we bring in media psychologist Dr. Pamela Rutledge. She's been studying human behavior within a variety of media for 20 years. Dr. Rutledge, thank you for joining us on the show. And, you know, we hear... Well, glad to have you and glad to have you back. But we hear several people say TikTok is addicting. You and I have had conversations about these apps. How does the app draw people in and really get them hooked?
Well, you know, TikTok is not only compelling, but the same qualities that make it compelling also make it very persuasive, which is why it's become so popular with brands and as are migrating onto this platform. But the reasons are partly because it is unpolished and raw. So it has a real sense of immediacy and authenticity. In the clip that you showed, it was so clearly out in the street. It wasn't a set. It wasn't, you know, high quality production. It was, so it looks really real. People talk to the camera. They break that fourth wall. Our brains automatically respond to virtual as if it's real when we see somebody talking to us. It's a very instinctive social response. Also, these videos are automatic. They're on a loop. They repeat. They swipe. There's never a down moment, right? You go right from one to the other. And TikTok also has a very unique algorithm compared to all the other social media platforms, which means that you don't just see who you follow. You see things that are trending, and you see things that have been marked as something similar to what you have liked before. So all of this combines with this never-ending sense of FOMO.
Oh, gosh, not the FOMO. And I mean, when you talk about even just how it's continuous, I use the app and know exactly what you're referring to. And it's sometimes you're watching a video and it just keeps going and going. And you're like, oh, what is that? I put it down for a second and I need to stop it. It just continues. We know people 25 and under and Gen Z are the largest demographics on TikTok, but an older crowd is growing on there as well. You know, what is pulling these folks in?
Well, the same curiosity that got the kids all over there is now pulling in people of older ages. But remember that TikTok moves across platforms. So you see stories about it in the news. You see people refer to it in blogs. You see it on Instagram. So you'd have to be living under a rock to not start wondering what was going on TikTok. And this rapid popularity of TikTok really is replicating what we think of as a normal adoption pattern for new technology, right? There's the early adopters, usually kids, right? Because they don't have these built-in habits. They just jump into the deep end of the pool. And then it starts working their way up to the bell curve. We aren't at 50% yet. 50% of the population is not using TikTok in spite of what it feels like. Yet it is becoming popular, and people are having to go there and look to find out what's going on so that they feel part of culture.
TikTok is a highly accessible platform. Anyone can get on it, fill out a few things, and be exposed to a whole new world in 30 seconds. What do you think are the biggest risks to that access?
I think there's two main risks. One is that it is so accessible. Any child old enough to do the math and figure out what birth year they need to enter in to be eligible can open an account. And young people that are exposed to content, whether it's violence, sexualized, or challenges that are dangerous, they don't have the critical thinking or developmental maturity to make judgments, that's a very dangerous thing. The second is the spread of misinformation. The very qualities that make TikTok so compelling and persuasive make it the conspiracy theorist's dream, right? Because you're looking right in somebody's eyes and you're telling them all of this stuff, activating fear, activating, whatever, and it's believable. And so what we're seeing now is the undermining of information. This is probably the most dangerous thing socially and politically, to not believe in science, to not believe in government institutions, and to perpetuate conflict with fear and hate. And, my sort of soapbox, the only way to really combat this is to train kids with media literacy. We can't rely on TikTok. They could be the most benevolent company in the world, which they are probably not. But we can't rely on them to make a judgment about the massive amounts of content that are going up.
Right.
The only thing we can do to protect kids, and from a very early age, is to give them the skills to make judgments about what they're seeing.
They're going to have to do it. That's an interesting distinction, because you've got, Congress and lawmakers are talking about, what do these social media platforms need to do to protect our children? And you're saying, hey, it's some of that, but it's really about media literacy too. We're running out of time here, so I got to wrap you, but we appreciate your insight. Dr. Rutledge, thank you so much for joining us on The Why. It's important stuff here.
My pleasure.
All right.